G'day everybody, my name is Ben. I'm the founder of the Victorian Hire Karting Championship, and I thought I'd just quickly jump on camera to explain how the championship works and all the different decisions we make around its operation. For starters, a little bit about myself. I'm a long-time race fan from the west side of Melbourne. I've been fascinated with motorsports ever since I was a kid. And over time, that fascination has turned into a bit of a passion, where I now do a little bit of sim racing in my spare time, and I also race in the Karting Madness Braybrook League. By trade, I work in the events and content creation industry, and so I'm keen to take the skills I've learnt from that space and use them to share my passion for motorsport through the VHKC. Why did I start the VHKC? If there's anything I know about myself, I love sharing my passions, whether it's for motorsport or for video games or anything else. I love getting other people involved. And so when I got to work on big events in Melbourne, I would often invite some friends and some colleagues down for a night of racing at Oskarts in Port Melbourne. And so those nights got bigger and bigger over time, and one night we thought, hey, why don't we add a team competition to our race package? And afterwards we thought, hey, that was pretty fun. And so I took that idea, and after a bit of work and planning in my spare time, the VHKC was born. And now it aims to host a fun and accessible platform for people to come race for not only themselves, but as a team as well. Why add a team championship to the VHKC? Well, a team championship adds a whole new dynamic to the competition, where you're not only racing for yourself out on track, but you're also racing as part of your team, where you're collectively trying to earn points in a battle with all the other teams in the championship. This, along with the two drivers championships, creates a higher level of competition out on the racetrack that we can't wait to see unfold. Before talking about ticket prices, it's worth understanding that the VHKC is a non-for-profit passion project at its core. We're not in it to make money, we're not in it to make a profit, we definitely don't want to rip people off. We want to make this as accessible as possible to everyone. The only financial goal for the VHKC is to not lose too much money with the costs of the website, the trophies, the medals, and of course the racing itself. And so with that in mind, the VHKC will usually add $5 to each individual driver ticket, where the remaining majority cost of a driver ticket will be determined by whichever venue we're visiting for that particular round. At no point whatsoever will we aim to make a profit on ticket sales, and if there ever is an excess of funds from ticket sales, we'll reinvest those funds into promotion of the championship or extended prizing. So it's also worth explaining how drop rounds work, since they're part of our championship. We understand that life sometimes gets in the way of things, and since this is an amateur racing series, we don't want the championship to be a heavy burden on any of our competitors, hence why we're employing the drop round rule. The rule requires every driver in the championship to have their lowest scoring round deducted from their overall points tally. And so thus, every driver in the championship will have at least one round where they've scored 0 points, no matter what. So this ultimately allows drivers to either miss a race or even just simply have a bad race without too much of a consequence. So when you buy a ticket, you'll then get a QR code which you'll use on arrival to the venue to then check in. We'll scan that QR code and verify your ticket, and after that we'll give you an armband, either a blue one or an orange one. And so what the armband signifies is that 1, you've checked in, and so we know that you're racing. And 2, it signifies what division you're racing in. Blue armbands will be Division 1 and orange armbands will be Division 2. So whilst we want to encourage a high level of competition out on the racetrack, we also want to encourage safe and clean racing. Yes, this is an amateur racing series, so we understand that people are going to make mistakes from time to time, but repeated mistakes where you're disadvantaging other drivers out on the racetrack won't go unpunished. Furthermore, blatant intentional contact out on the racetrack, like spinning people out or putting people in walls, will not be tolerated whatsoever. We'll soon be releasing the first edition of our rules and regulations that goes over all those specifics, so just keep an eye out for that. I know a number of people were curious about our idea to split the championship into a Western region and an Eastern region that would converge into a state championship at the end of a season. And we want to stick by this idea because we think it holds a number of advantages. One, it localizes the championship so it decreases travel time for all of our competitors. Secondly, splitting the one big group of drivers into two smaller groups would decrease the waiting times at individual race days. And three, it would mean that the championship gets to visit more and more venues around Victoria. However, for the first season, we're just going to stick to the one single competition. It's a massive investment already just to start one championship, let alone two. And so we just want to see how it goes to begin with. If the championship maintains a good level of interest and participation over the course of the next 6 months, then yes, we will heavily consider the idea of a West and an East region. We're going to try our best to make sure that everybody has a great experience on and off the racetrack, but this is our first season, and so we're not exactly expecting perfection. With that in mind, please bear with us if things don't go as planned. We go into this with a very open mind and a willingness to learn from our mistakes. And so if you have any feedback for our race formats, our rules, our website, our ticket system, or anything else around the championship, please let us know and we'll try our best to rectify any issues. So after we get past the initial growing pains of maybe the first season or two of the championship, we're keen to look into other opportunities to add things under the VHKC banner. First of all, we'd love to look into the opportunity of running a junior league alongside our main league. And secondly, we'd also love to look into running an endurance series where we can host races of 3 hours, 6 hours, or even 24 hours long. And if you have any other crazy or cool ideas that you might think would be cool to put on in the go-karting space, feel free to throw those ideas our way and we can look into seeing if we can bring them to life. Just because you don't want to race doesn't mean you can't be involved with the VHKC. Like I mentioned before, we're not in the business of losing money, so we're not currently offering any paid positions. But if anyone is interested, we'll be more than welcoming of anyone who wants to volunteer their time to help with things like checking drivers in on race days, photography, videography, and any other small admin task in the background. I hope this little video explained a few things about the championship. I can't wait to see you guys out on track. Thanks for watching, everyone.